Boy, they about to pull up on Kwame, bro. They about to pull up on Kwame. We about to ride, bro. We about to ride. Boy, they about to pull up on Kwame, bro. They about to pull up on Kwame. We about to ride, bro. We about to ride. Kwame, if I don't get my money, boy, I'm a... That's how I feel. I feel like black people are very demanding. Black people are very demanding, but in regard, you know what I'm saying, I almost could say rightfully so, but I really wanted to propose some questions to you guys. And this is for the people that love Kwame Brown and for the people that can't stand him, right? I want to ask some questions right down the middle, and I really want to see what you guys are going to say in the comments. And I also want to give people, other content creators, something to strive off of. You know, do me a favor. Tag your favorite content creator, whether big, small, it doesn't matter. Tag them in this video right here, because I'm going to propose some questions and I would love to see what other people think about. So we got this whole thing about Kwame Brown and what people feel like he should be doing, what he should be saying. I know y'all remember Low Key for Life. You know, I got a chance to go on his platform. And we kind of had, you know, we kind of bumped heads. Like, I felt like he was not a person that you could take serious. I felt like, you know, he didn't provide any solutions. It was just hate. It was trolling. It was a bunch of stuff. So I had a couple people reach out to me that's on his side and said, hey, man, you know, he was just off that night, you know, come back and, you know, give him another shake. So I went back last night, and he had a panel of guys on, you know, and salute to them, you know, salute to him. And I felt like there were some points being made. And what I wanted to do in my tough love way, I wanted to give them another fair shake. And by saying that, while I was on the panel, I told them that I understood a lot of what they were saying. But I also felt like, you know, when you have a conversation and it's about what another man should be doing, make sure that you yourself are doing that. Make sure that you yourself don't miss your shot in regards to saying what it is that you need to say. Oh, you talking leadership. If you derail the conversation, if you distract the conversation with jokes and antics and stuff like that, then people have a hard time taking you serious. So I think everybody kind of left with a general understanding of where everybody was coming from. And I thought that was cool. So what I wanted to do was I want to propose these questions to you guys. And I want to see what you guys think about it. Let's go on a journey. So I want you to imagine if someone gave you $60 million. Would your thought process be different? Would you worry about what the average man has to do, what the average man struggles with on a daily basis? Now, the concept that I take from the low keys, the people that say, hey, I don't like him because he's not talking about solutions for black community, for, you know, for black people. Boy, they about to pull up on Kwame, bro. They about to pull up on Kwame. We about to ride, bro. We about to ride. And I'm thinking, like, if somebody gave me $60 million, would my concerns be of the average black American? Now, let me rewind this a little bit and let me lead you guys to where I want you to go, okay? Imagine growing up in a poverty-stricken neighborhood and you find a niche. Like, you're good at basketball, you're good at football, you're good at acting, you're good at public speaking. So you either become a athlete, you become a movie star, you become a rapper, you become something that puts you on a higher status. And you start to make lots of money. Now, prior to you making lots of money, here's what happened. What's happening is you're struggling. You're struggling. You're struggling, you're probably struggling in your home in reference to having food in the house. It's probably a single parent household. You're probably struggling in school. You're probably not even paying attention. Probably getting in trouble. I want you to think about no one being there to help you. Let it marinate. Let it marinate. Let it breathe. No one being around to say, I got you. I'm going to come in and I'm going to pay you and your mama or you and your daddy or you and your parents' bills so that way you can go to school. I'm going to make sure that there's groceries in the house. I'm going to make sure that the lights is cut on. I'm going to make sure that you have what you need to be successful. I know you're dealing with the police. I know it's systematic racism. I'm going to take care of that for you as another black man or as a black woman. Now, if you guys are following me, the thought process is if you're growing up and you have no one there to champion you, no one there to save you, no one there to speak up for you, why is it expected that when you now go through the trials and tribulations, when you put in the hours, you put in the work to become better at your God-given talent, whether that's running a football, whether that's rapping, whether that's shooting a basketball, whatever it is that made you a celebrity, that made you reach the status that you've reached, I want you to think about this. If you put in the hours and you put in the work, do you owe anybody anything? If you guys are following me, the thought process is if you're growing up and you have no one there to champion you, no one there to save you, no one there to speak up for you, why is it expected that when you now go through the trials and tribulations, when you put in the hours, you put in the work to become better at your God-given talent, whether that's running a football, whether that's rapping, whether that's shooting a basketball, whatever it is that made you a celebrity, that made you reach the status that you've reached, I want you to think about this. If you put in the hours and you put in the work, do you owe anybody anything? Do you owe anybody anything? Do you owe anybody anything? For some reason, it's a mentality that once you make it big, even though I wasn't there to help you in your adolescence, even though I wasn't there to help you as a young adult, I believe that once you get to a certain plateau, that you are now responsible for having a certain type of message. This is about practice. I know we ain't talking about practice. You can't be talking to me. This can't be about practice. This is about practice. Okay, when you were smaller in the community, there was nobody to help you with police brutality. There was nobody to help you with racism or systematic racism or black on black crime or abuse and drugs and alcoholism. But when you find a way to get out of that nonsense, to project out of the craziness, to rise out of the burning sands and the ashes, and you have now reached the good life, you've now reached a celebrity status, it is expected that you come back and help the community. Oh, you talking leadership. Oh, you talking leadership. Well, realistically, and this is what I was listening to, the Low Key podcast. Again, shout out to those brothers on the podcast last night. I don't think that's realistic. I think that's how we think, but I don't think it's realistic thinking. I just don't. Because here's the thing, for anybody that was struggling with their parents growing up and watch their mom work 3 jobs, watch their father work 4 jobs, etc., 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 watch their parents struggle. Watch their parents struggle. Watch their parents struggle. Watch their parents struggle. They don't remember you and I. You and I wasn't around. You and I wasn't there to support them. They don't remember you and I. You and I wasn't around. You and I wasn't there to support them. So the question is, why now when they get it out the mud, when they put in the work, when they have the blood, sweat, and tears, why is it expected for you as a man or a woman that have reached a certain status to come back and save us? Oh, you talking leadership. To now champion us. Let's get deeper, because a lot of people talk about surface conversation versus getting deeper. So now it's time to get deeper. Let's get deeper, because a lot of people talk about surface conversation versus getting deeper. So now it's time to get deeper. If you were given $60 million, would you think like the average black American? If you were given $60 million, would you think like the average black American? If you were given $60 million, would you think like the average black American? Your daily routine. Now, let's break this down. Some people are fortunate enough to go on vacation. Maybe they go, within the state. Maybe they go a couple states over or whatever. But $60 million, that's a different type of vacation. That's a different type of adventure. That's a different type of reach. That's a different type of resource. Some people live in check to check. $60 million, you're probably on your own time schedule. Some people say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm my own boss. You might have access to a few resources. Cool. But even with that, that's done on a quarterly basis versus having $60 million. Now, I want you to think about a young kid, Kwame Brown. I want you to think about him going into the league, being around grown men who have these expectations of him, probably maybe sort of taking him under his wing and just saying, hey, look, this is how things operate. This is how things run, or whatever case may be. Kwame Brown, has his 12 years or so career, #1 draft pick, or whatever case may be, and then grows up. So here it is 20 years later, people have their comments, they're making jokes, and he's kind of just riding on his tractor, living his best life, got his 60 mil, raising his children, enjoying his life. And he decides that, hey, about 2 years ago, I want to jump on YouTube and I want to start, talking about whatever it is I deem important. And then one day, the rubber hits the road and he says, I'm going to start talking about my situation and how I feel about it. And that situation now resonates with people. People now consider him to be an underdog. And guess what? I relate to it because I was an underdog at one point in time. Hey, I'm an underdog now. Hey, I was living my best life, minding my business, and they kept messing with me. So I decided to speak up for myself. Okay. I get it. I understand. People are feeling like now that you have an audience, a bigger audience, a multitude of people saying, hey, we love you, we support you. Hey, here's some money. Here's our time. Let me share. Let me let me tag my friends. People are starting to feel that you now, Kwame Brown, since you have an audience, there should be a message delivered within that audience. Well, here's my thought process. Rappers have that audience. Movie stars have that audience. Politicians have that audience. Preachers have that same audience. Oh, you talking leadership. Why is Kwame Brown so special to the point where we feel like Kwame Brown's message should be tailored? Why is Kwame Brown so special to the point where we feel like Kwame Brown's message should be tailored? Boy, hey, they about to pull up on Kwame, bro. They about to pull up on Kwame. We about to ride, bro. We about to ride. Should be constructed better. Should be maneuvered to save and address the black solution. Now, of course, me and Low Key, we went back and forth on a couple things or whatever. But again, I felt like last night there were some points being made. And one of the brothers was kind of alluding to, I'm not really worried about Kwame Brown. I don't really know him personally or whatever. I'm worrying about me and my household and making sure that, I get my money. I chase my bag. And for that, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's kind of where I'm at with it. It's great that you found your voice. It's great that people respect you genuinely. It's great that both men and women are coming together and to champion, hey, do your thing. Because me personally, I don't think that Kwame Brown needs our help. I don't think he needs our help. Again, $60 million. Somebody said, well, he's buying shoes. What is that going to do? If you have $60 million, there's a lot more you can do. The question is that at your level, okay, at your level, what are you doing? Oh, you talking leadership. It is easy to tell someone else that you need to be doing more. If you're not buying $60 million in sneakers or $1 million in sneakers realistically, right? A half a million in sneakers, then you're not credible. You need to do more, Kwame. And the question is, those people that ask for him to do more, I am asking sincerely and genuinely, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing at your level that you can afford to do? Whether it's with your time, whether it's with your money, whether it's giving your energy and making content that's positive, that's bringing people together. Oh, you talking leadership. I noticed that there is a serious decline of what the person that is calling Kwame Brown out provides. And that was my point last night with Low Key, was to make sure that when you get your shot, make sure that you don't miss. When you get your shot, make sure that you don't miss. Because the jokes are going to take you but so far. The antics are going to take you but so far. What is your message? And within that message, what is the solution? What is your message? And within that message, what is the solution? What is your message? And within that message, what is the solution? Maybe he heard me, maybe he didn't, I have no idea. But the fact of the matter is, I feel like there are a lot of people. I said this before, there are a lot of Kwame Browns. Okay, different faces, different races, different genders, but there's a lot of people with a message. And though his message is personal to him, there are a lot of people that have messages that's personal to them that is a testament for you. So I appreciate the fact that Kwame Brown is allowing people to use his content, allowing people to use his name. Again, a millionaire. You know, I don't know how much this affects him and how much it doesn't affect him. My thought process is, when given the opportunity, what are you saying? Is it a bunch of jokes? Is it a bunch of antics? Or are you delivering a message? I don't want you to press play on somebody else's message. I want you to articulate to me what it is that you need, what it is that you want, where it is that you're trying to take us. Oh, you talking leadership. A lot of people, this was something that came up last night too, in reference to leadership. Do I consider Kwame Brown to be a leader? Boy, they about to pull up on Kwame, bro. They about to pull up on Kwame. We about to ride, bro. We about to ride. I consider Kwame Brown to be a man that is leading his household. That's the only thing that Kwame Brown is required to lead. I consider Kwame Brown to be a man that is leading his household. That's the only thing that Kwame Brown is required to lead in my book. Now, if Kwame Brown comes out and say, I am a leader of the people for the people, then that's a different story. Then that means we need to hold you to a different standard. That means we need to ask and demand more. Okay? But right now, the only thing he is responsible for is taking care of his family. That is who he needs to be a provider, a protector, and a role model for, not the black race. Now, if people have resonated to him for his story, for his personal story, hey, they're calling me a bust. I told them leave me alone. They wouldn't leave me alone, so I'm attacking them. You know, I'm on their neck. If people relate to that, cool. They follow that, cool. Now, there are some people that follow the drama. They follow the controversy. They don't really care about Kwame Brown. They don't really care about anybody except themselves. And a lot of them don't even care about themselves. But the fact of the matter is, when that question was proposed last night, me personally, I don't feel that people are looking at him as this beacon of leadership. I think that what they're looking at him as is someone that's saying enough is enough, so I'm going to speak up. Someone that's saying enough is enough, so I'm going to speak up. Speaking up don't make you a leader. Speaking up says I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. Speaking up is you taking the first step to saying enough is enough. And for that, I gotta applaud you. Now, some people say, hey, man, he waited 20 years to have a conversation. Sometimes it takes 20 years. Sometimes it takes a lifetime. Sometimes you never say it. How many people out there have not gotten over a situation in regards to somebody who've crossed you and you've never told them how you really felt because you felt like, well, I just leave it alone? Sometimes we victimize the victim. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we put them in such a manner where we say, well, maybe we shouldn't say anything because maybe people won't see it how we see it. But with Kwame Brown's situation, even though these people that are championing Kwame Brown, they are not millionaires. They're average, everyday people. So maybe that's his way of giving back by saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let y'all eat off my name. I'm going to let y'all use my content, use my videos, use my name. Maybe that's his way of giving back. So I wanted to propose this to you guys to see what you guys thought. I wanted to provide a different perspective. I understand that there are people that are saying, you know, this guy, you know, he was a bust, he was this, he was that, he was this, and that there are expectations of him. But those same expectations should be, first of all, you should be promoting and doing what you expect other people to do. That's one. Two, you got to make sure when you start talking and telling people, I demand this, I require this, make sure that you don't miss your shot in the conversation. Make sure that if you get your 3 minutes of fame, make sure that you are telling people, you're giving them concise direction. You're giving them concise leadership, okay? Concise advice. If you come out and you start talking about people's sexuality, you come out talk about people's skin tone or credit or their wife or their kids, you're going to miss the mark. You're going to miss the mark. So this goes out to all the people that like and love Kwame Brown and also the people that dislike him or not quite sure where he's trying to take people. This is my message to you all, okay? Live your life for yourself. If you find someone that adds value to your life in regards to speaking positive, promoting you, empowering you as a man or as a woman, that is positive, then apply it. But do not tune in to craziness. Do not subscribe to nonsense. Maybe I'm saying something, maybe I'm not. But the fact of the matter is, this is for the grown folks. This is for the people that are willing to listen and have the tough conversation. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mario J. This is Tough Love. Until next time, y'all are daughter. Hold on. Before y'all leave, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications so every time I go live and the Tough Love family has a conversation, you can be a part of it. Till next time, a daughter. Peace.